I'm going to call the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners Committee of the Whole, May 3rd, 2023 to order. Clerk Curran, would you please give roll?
Commissioner DeLu.
Here.
Commissioner Gisler.
Here.
Commissioner Mazer.
Here.
Commissioner Vice Chair Ray. Chair Taylor.
Here.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler.
Here.
Commissioner Stravis.
Here.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Here.
Commissioner Morales. We have 8 members present.
Thank you, Clerk. Now we'll move on to public comment. This is an opportunity for members to address the Board of Commissioners. Please give us your name and address and keep your remarks to 3 minutes if possible. Thank you.
Greetings, Commissioners. My name is Jason Mickelborg. I live at 6834 Manhattan Street, Portage, Michigan. I'm a Portage Precinct delegate in the 14th District. I have been informed by constituents who wish to remain anonymous that there are things that need to be considered as to what to do with the Kalamazoo County Road Commission. This organization at one time had a waiting list to gain employment. Now it seems like it has a drive-through window with tremendous turnover. This is because management interprets 8 hours of vacation as only 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. or an 8-hour day is defined. After 4 p.m. or before 7:30 a.m., the employee that is on vacation can be punished for not answering volunteer overtime. Basically, if the employee wants the entire day off, that employee would have to use 3 vacation days for one 24-hour period. In that case, the employee should be getting paid around the clock by those standards. For example, quite recently, an employee was out of state on vacation with his family. A tree came down in the road. Said employee was called for volunteer overtime. The employee told the on-call supervisor he and his family were out of town on vacation. They were in Indiana camping. The on-call supervisor told the employee that he would call him back. The on-call supervisor called the employee back and told him under the direction of the operations director, or whatever they call themselves that week, the employee was to make the 2-hour drive home because the entire management wanted to rattle their sabers. The good thing is that nobody was hit. Nobody hit the tree that was in the road for 2 hours. I was employed there for 12 years. I had to quit because they use veterans' disabilities against veterans, and my health is more important than dealing with the feckless, uneducated management. I'm sure I would be called a disgruntled former employee, but all you have to do is talk to the road workers. With this, management has created a hostile work environment. The Road Commission has an aerial drone program. A supervisor is the drone pilot. The supervisor has the FAA NTSB Part 107 training for drone operation, which makes this individual a licensed drone pilot. Since they started their drone program, the drone has been in power lines, ran into vehicles, and ran into building doors. The pilot holding the license is expected to report crashes to the NTSB immediately for investigation. Some constituents have mentioned that they are concerned for their immediate safety with the Road Commission operating aerial vehicles. In closing, I believe the Road Commission should be absorbed into the county. Taxpayers are paying for 2 HR departments, one here and another HR department down at the County Road Commission. The 5 road commissioners should be eliminated, and the money saved from that should be given to the County Veterans Fund instead of raising a millage on taxpayers. Money could also be used by not allowing management to use county vehicles for personal use. The toxic management should be replaced to preserve the few good employees that they do have and to put an end to the hostile work environment. Any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members wishing to address the board? Administrator, will you advise us if we have anybody on a recorded line?
Absolutely, Chair. We will play one recording and then we will have Dina advise if any hands are raised this evening.
Annette Rubinski calling from Kalamazoo County. Please play this message at both the 4 p.m. and the 7 p.m. meetings of the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners on Wednesday, May 3rd. I'm calling in regard to the YWCA's presentation at the 4 p.m. meeting of the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners on April 18. In it, they asked the board to give them $100,000 to help finance their reproductive health fund. The board said that they would consider the request during the 2024 budget process. The goals of the YWCA Reproductive Health Fund are to increase access to abortion, contraception, gender-affirming care, and doula care. Almost all of these services are against the Catholic religion and other Christian religions, despite the fact that YWCA stands for Young Women's Christian Association. Today, I'd like to zero in on abortion. During their presentation, the YWCA said it is seeking reproductive justice. Does that include justice for the unborn child in the womb who has nowhere to hide? An estimated 63 million babies in the womb have been killed through abortion in the U.S. alone since it became legal in 1973. The womb used to be one of the safest places on earth. Not anymore. If a mother's womb is no longer a safe place, how do you expect anywhere else on earth to be safe, like schools, for example? The ever-widening acceptance of abortion sends the message that it's okay to solve problems by killing. That's not okay, and abortion is not okay. Every abortion snuffs out a human life full of potential. Every single person is valuable, born or preborn, male or female, exactly the way God created him or her. Each person is unique and has a purpose that only he or she can fulfill. Please don't give any money to the YWCA Reproductive Health Fund. Instead, why not give it to Schoolcraft to help them fund their clean water project? I know that they need more than $100,000 for that project, but at the April 18 meeting, you said that the 2023 Kalamazoo County Equalization Report revealed that taxable value had increased 6.8%. You could use some of that extra tax revenue to help our sister village, Schoolcraft. That would be a more appropriate use of taxpayer dollars than enabling the YWCA Reproductive Health Fund to give out vouchers for free abortion services. Thank you.
Are there any hands raised? Please.
All right. Since I heard that phone call, I realize it's permissible to speak about the very topic that that lady talked about. So I'm Kathy Cunningham. I live in Schoolcraft, and I would like to speak about the proposal aforementioned. I don't want any of my tax dollars, any more of them, going to pay for the killing of babies and the heartbreaking wounding of their mothers. I don't want any more of my tax dollars going to Planned Parenthood to sponsor reproductive organ removal, chemical castration, mutilation of breasts, and mutilation of the body in order to construct artificial penises and vaginas, and lifetime cross-sex hormone treatment. I guess Big Pharma is really going to make a killing on all of this. I don't want my tax dollars going for the depopulation and sterilization efforts of Planned Parenthood. These issues are at the very heart of the moral and cultural divide in this country. Therefore, you don't pick the pockets of unwitting taxpayers. Perhaps the Young Women's Christian Association could ask for the $100,000 from their very own donors and benefactors. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any hands raised?
No hands raised, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. At the request of administration and corporate counsel, we are going to, Chair will take his prerogative and move closed session number 7 to number 3. Jeff, do you have a motion, or Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, do you have a motion prepared?
Jeff was fine. Thank you, Chair. I move that the board go into closed session as permitted by Michigan Open Meetings Act for the following reason. Number one, as follows by MCL 15.268 parentheses 1E to consult with their attorney regarding settlement strategy in connection with the specific pending litigation, as an open meetings would have a detrimental financial effect on the settlement or litigation position of the board in the matter captioned below. A pending workers' compensation matter, County of Kalamazoo versus Faith, case number 2022-0530 CB, and number 2, as allowed by MCL 15.268 parentheses H, to discuss material exemptions from discussion or disclosure by the state or federal statute subjecting the written legal opinion of the county attorney dated May 3rd, 2023.
Is there support? Motion made by Commissioner Hepler, supported by Vice Chair Ray. Is this a roll call vote? Roll call vote. Clerk Kern.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales, Vice Chair Ray, Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu.
Yes.
We have 9 yes.
All right, we can do well, nope, we don't have quorum. Yeah, we do. Do you want to?
I make a motion to come out of closed session.
There is a motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Oppose, motion carries. Okay, will you make a motion to approve the minutes of our closed session?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session.
Support.
There is a motion and support to approve the minutes of the closed session. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Okay, and I'm going to go really slow because I don't even see Kevin here. But yeah, so we've got the review of accounts payable and payroll disbursements. You know, I think I'm going to take a 2-minute recess because we don't have, there's our Vice Chair Pro Tem. Let's take a 2-minute recess. All right, I'm going to come out of recess because this one is really easy. It's review of accounts and payroll and payable disbursements. Administrator Callan.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chairs, Commissioners, audience. Tonight, an accounts payable claims list totaling $6,735,352.51 is presented for review. Of this total, the Board of Commissioners is asked to approve a claims list totaling $5,345,842.40. Payroll disbursements totaling $2,385,109.52 are presented for the April 28th payrolls. Happy to entertain any questions.
Questions from commissioners? Seeing none. Now we're on to our illustrious housing director, Mary Buckle.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, Vice Chairs, Board of Commissioners. My name is Mary Balkema. In your packet was the housing allocation for the 2023 housing millage dollars. In the audience, we have some of our housing partners. We have Community Homeworks. We also have Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services. Did you guys see it in the packet, the recommendation? I sent It was in the packet, the recommendation, the email I sent was just a picture of River Caddis, which is the first project that I'm recommending $1 million for. It's on the corner of Harrison and Gull. It's a contaminated site.
Sorry to stop you, Commissioner Balkman. You might have to go through it because we did not receive the recommendations in our civic clerk packet. You have them?
Yeah, they're in there. Yeah. Um,
Oh, in the email packet?
So if you're in the entire packet on page 35, you will see the recommendation. But since maybe some of you haven't had a chance to look at it, do you want me to go through it in detail, or do you just want a high overview since you might have mind overload?
Can you just give us a high overview, please? Thank you.
Okay, the 30,000 foot version is, we have two multi-family projects that one is River Caddis on River's Edge. These have taken a long time to get to the finish line, up to 5 years. The other one is Hawthorne Park with the Lift Foundation. If they get to the finish line, we will award them a conditional grant funding that will expire at the end of next year. It is not anticipated that they will come to market this year due to the Lift Foundation has not applied for the tax credits with MISTA, and River Caddis still has a $3 million funding gap. The next recommendation is approval for a forgivable deferred loan for the Duke Street project that is addressing victims of human trafficking. Last year, you gave them a $500,000 loan. They still have a gap in their project, so they're requesting another $500,000 loan. Then it's recommended that the county board approve grant funding for the new single family. We have a project in Portage that is requesting $1 million. It's a 3-year request. Habitat for Humanity would like to do a new house in the city of Portage. Then they would also like to do one on Forsman, one on Gale, and one on Corlott Street. 2 are in the city, Kalamazoo, one's in the K Township. Valley Vision wants to do 3 on the north side on Martin Street. And then KNHS wants to do scattered sites in Kalamazoo Township in the amount of $600,000 for 4 new attainable homes. This is also a 3-year request. Then it's recommended that the county board approve grant funding for the following owner occupied rehab projects. One in the city of Portage, Community Homeworks in the amount of $225,000 for health and safety critical home repairs in the county. They're in the audience. They've done good work. They're steady at doing it. They have a staff, they have a team. Kalamazoo Valley Habitat for Humanity. They have identified the homes on those critical home repairs, and they are ready to go with your approval. Better World Builders is doing some good work in the city of Galesburg. They want to continue the work that they did this year and last year. And then the city of Portage is asking also for $100,000 for emergency repairs. And Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services in the amount of $225,000 for exterior home repairs. So I kind of gave you the background. If you awarded that next week, it will be on the regular agenda. That still leaves about $1.2 million that is left over. I opened up the portal again and I received 1 multifamily and several applications for supportive services. So after you approve this, I will bring the rest of the money back in front of this board for approval.
Do any commissioners have any questions? Commissioner Ray, Vice Chair Ray.
Thank you. thank you, Director Baltimore, for the recommendations. Wondering, like in the past, so when we did this last year, we were able to see a spreadsheet with all of the commissioners' recommendations. Do you have that available to review? Can you email that out?
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Commissioner Straps.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Balkema. I just want to clarify, Community Homeworks now, their work is constrained to just within the city of Kalamazoo, but this funding would be countywide. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Balkema. Appreciate it. I know you sat with a lot of us and you went above and beyond and kind of sat down. You had breakfast with me and Commissioner DeLu, and I know you sat down with just about every commissioner here. So appreciate your work and getting as much input from commissioners as you possibly could.
Thank you very much. And in 2 weeks, it'll be on the permanent agenda or the regular agenda. If you have any questions or you'd like any more information in the meantime, please reach out to me and I'm happy to provide it. It's also on the Ample Fund. Some of it's hard. So if you need a letter of recommendation or you're not sure quite what the project is, please reach out and I'm happy to go over it with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have business priorities, and this is a review of revenue and expenditures, and I believe all commissioners got a copy of this, and I will let Kevin, you want to take it away?
Yes, thank you, Chair, Vice Chairs, Commissioners, audience. So this evening, the board was provided with the 2022 unaudited year-end budget projections report. So in the report, it highlights major revenues by function, sort of provides a chart on those revenues by functions, revenues by source, and then provides additional charts on that. And then we also did the same thing for expenditures, charted those out, the major expenditures by departments, offices, in courts. And then also, I think what you're probably more interested in is the unassigned fund balance projection, and that's for year end 22. That's of course unaudited, but it should be very close. And then on page 13, the last page, we included what we call the general fund balance exposure. And so if you recall, there is we have some liabilities out there that need to be accounted for. So that would have to deal with some retro pay and some future plans we have for parking. So that kind of leaves us with that balance there of the 34 million. Typically with fund balance, what we've had in policy is that we stay in the range between 20 and 25% of our general fund revenues. And what that means and why it's important is because County of Kalamazoo, the volume of things that we process is very high. And so we typically like to stay within about 25 million to meet payroll, to meet other obligations and liabilities that we have. Because as you know, the county come January 1st doesn't just collect all of its tax revenue in 1 month. And all these other revenues are kind of spread over time. So we like to keep fund balance there at around 25 million or above to ensure that we don't, default on obligations and liabilities. But as you can see, we're above that at 34 million, even with the liabilities that we've at least projected out to the state. As you know, the board has also considered other one-time expenses or projects that they'd like to endeavor in. And so that would obviously eat into this fund balance exposure. We just haven't gone over that yet with the board, but we plan on discussing those items. My deputy administrator, Terrell Cole, has been compiling a list of items that the board has discussed, so we can kind of go through those at a later date, but just keep that in mind. Happy to entertain any questions on this report. I know Chair Taylor asked a lot of questions, and we were able to get those answered before the meeting, but happy to answer any questions that may have come up in the meantime, or please feel free to reach out after the meeting too, if there's anything that you'd like answered.
And the administrator was very nice. I bombarded him with about 3 pages of like 60 questions, and they were able to get it done fairly shortly. Are there any questions from commissioners? Commissioner DeLu.
Yeah, this is the first I've seen or heard about the Kale landfill potential costs. When will we be getting more information on that?
I would refer that to Angelina. I could give you a 25-year history on the KL landfill, but Angelina probably knows more up-to-date information.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioner DeLu. We are in the process currently of having counsel for the KL landfill group, Attorney DeWitt, prepare a presentation and update for the board, which will be either this month or next month in closed session update with some strategic recommendations as well.
And when I first got on the board in 2002, we would allocate about $600,000 to $800,000 a year to the KL remediation study, along with the other participating partners, the city of Kalamazoo, Ashmo Township. And at that time, it was Pharmacia, now it's Pfizer. It was originally Upjohn, but there was a landfill in Kalamazoo that was our Ashmo Township that was owned by Ashmo Township and the county. And that's what the cause of this was. The county, if you go back a few decades, have already put in over about $20 million along with other municipalities and entities too. So this has been a very expensive process. Okay, moving on, just to wrap up this report, and I've said this before, this is excellent financial position that the county's in. We bought a HCS building for $14 million or close to $14 million, and we only ran a $2.7 million deficit. That's amazing. That's a purchase of a $14 million building. Now, some of these losses too are due to mark to market. And as I said earlier, that's just an inversion of interest rates. But, as rates come down, we'll start to see a reflection of that in the other direction. I feel confident that this county and this commission can look really hard in the 2024 budget process. And maybe it's something that I talked to administrator about. Maybe it's something that we can have some sort of, strategy session amongst commissioners on how do we look at our structural of our budget and what kind of external and internal needs that we have in the county that we would like to see departments or people that are maybe underwater with a lot of work. Do we need to add bodies to these people? I asked a couple of questions on one of these, page 10 or whatever, talked about the personnel costs. And one of my questions are, what is a point if we were to give all employees at 1 point? What is the cost for each percentage increase in COLA that we were to give employees? It's about $300,000 with fringe rates attached to it for all employees, part-time and full-time. So these are the types of things that we can look at as we, gauge that in the 2024 process. But this is a good basis to start from. And I appreciate Ryan and Kevin for getting this to us and Terrell for getting this to us, because the most important thing we do as a county commission, number one most important thing we do is, hire our administrator, but do our budget. That is number two. And those two things are what runs this county. And I think we're doing a great job in both of those. So next on the agenda, I'm sorry, nobody else had any comments or questions, correct? Okay. Next on the agenda, we have some resolutions. It was my thought to try to get these done. They seem non-controversial. We have a Workers' Memorial Day resolution and a proclamation to pay tribute to Congressman Fred Upton's service. And we'll get to those two as far as proclamations and resolutions. Do commissioners have any problem with just putting those on the 7 o'clock? I think the Workers' Memorial Day was to celebrate a holiday that was 2 days ago. But so is it Commissioner Gissler?
Yes, I have a question. When I first read that, not going into the detail behind it, I thought, gosh, that sounds like a Marxist kind of thing. Workers, where's the hammer and sickle in the background? I guess it's not really that, but it still bothers me somewhat. Maybe we could call it International Workers' Memorial Day, because I think it is celebrated around the world, isn't it?
It is celebrated around the world. It's just basically a holiday to celebrate those that lost their lives on the job. To use a bad joke, you're rushing to judgment with the hammer and sickle. But
you just couldn't resist.
I couldn't resist that one. But no, I've got no problem with it if commissioners want to call it International Workers Memorial Day. I mean, I just think that these types of non-controversial things should just be moved quickly instead of just having two different
Well,
readings.
it's obviously somewhat controversial,
Oh.
even an old guy in the crowd.
I didn't know that Workers Memorial Day would be, I did not anticipate that. Any other comments or questions from commissioners? Do commissioners have, other than the changing it to International Workers Memorial Day resolution, do any commissioners have a problem with passing this at our 7 o'clock agenda tonight? Okay, seeing none, we can move those to our 7 o'clock agenda. Next up, revised interview questions for advisory bodies. Is this you, Commissioner Streb? Or is this Kevin? I don't know.
I don't know if Vice Chair Ray, the Board Appointments Committee looked at the questions that we've been presenting in committee and as a whole board and made some revisions to those. I wasn't in attendance at that meeting. I was out ill, but I don't know if one of the other commissioners would like to just share what your thoughts were. I'm in support. It streamlines the questions. It elevates the applicant's commitment to attend at the date and time that the advisory meetings are held. I think it brings the number of questions down to 9 in total. If there's anything else.
Okay, seems like it's making things more efficient. Commissioner Gissler.
Yes, I agree. It does that. It's, I think, coincidence, correct me if I'm wrong, that there are 9 of us and 9 questions. So that'll make it easy, and it will be, I think, more efficient. And there were more than one occasion in here when we all were interviewing, as well as on the advisory board or the appointments committee, when some of the questions did seem to be a little redundant. And I think we've eliminated some of that, or at least that was the intent when we decided, let's whack this thing down. And we couldn't really do it yet because, we can't redo things that we've already agreed we will do. So we need, I think, to have you say grace over that. Thank you.
Well, I thank the committee for their work on this. I see no problem with moving that. Is this something that we have to act on, or is this something we do have to act on it? So it'll be a motion in probably our next county commissioner meeting. Okay, cool. Well, I think it should be in consent agenda. I don't think anybody's got a problem with that. Yes, Commissioner Streb.
I'm wondering, are you proposing it be in our next regular meeting in 2 weeks? Because we'll have a board appointments committee meeting that happens between those, and we could do with the efficiency at our next set of interviews.
If you'd like to make a motion from the floor at our 7 o'clock meeting, I'd be happy to support it. Any other comments? Okay, moving on. Discussion on the Kalamazoo County Road Commission. I will lead this off and then I'll pass it on. Kevin, do you want anything to do with this? I'll pass it on to you to start it off.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chairs, Commissioners, audience. So the information I wanted to share this evening is that, so I was tasked with soliciting proposals from firms that could conduct some sort of a feasibility study of this nature. And so we did receive 2 proposals back, one from Raymond, who's our current county auditor. And then I also received one from the CPA firm that's been assisting us in the treasurer's office, Maynard. And so those proposals range from 17,000, which is Raymond. The Maynard proposal it has a range of 18 to 22,000. Per our purchasing policy, because of the dollar amounts associated with those, anything that's within above 5,000 or above, but below 30,000, you have to have 3 quotes. I have contacted at least 5 additional CPA firms, and they've all said that they are not able to perform this sort of a study for us. And so I need to meet with our purchasing manager to see at what point can we just utilize these 2 quotes. And I believe that there's a process for that and that I can kind of cease soliciting additional quotes at this point because no one else seems that they can do it. So that's kind of where we are with that, at least. That's our our sort of financial range at this point is $17,000 to $22,000. And Raymond has the experience in actually conducting the study. They've done a study like this for Calhoun County. So that's the information I wanted to share with you all, and happy to take any questions on the topic.
And the reason we brought this up is, one, it would take a full vote of the Board of Commissioners to move forward with that expenditure. I am of the opinion, and I'll just say my opinion, that we need as a county to work on the infrastructure within our HR, within our administration, in order before we can even attempt to take on a tackle of internalizing the road commission. I don't believe that we are in the point now where it would make better sense to the citizens. So I will not be voting for expending money on this, but again, I am one vote on this board. And so this is the will of the 9 of us. So I have 1 of 9, but I'd like to open this up to other commissioners. I've got Commissioner Ray, then I've got Commissioner Morales, and I've got Commissioner Stretz.
Thank you. So I agree with your comments, but I also think it's worth having the information, especially considering all of the public comment that we've heard around this. It sounds like there are some issues with the road commission. And also want to know if there's an update on the meeting that you all talked about in the last update when we were here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's a very good point. If you wouldn't mind, Commissioner Morales. We had a meeting with myself, Commissioner Strebs, Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, and there was the Vice Chair and the Chair of the Road Commission, and Joanna Johnson and Kevin. And we talked about a lot of different things. One of the things that we did agree to quarterly meetings. I had asked for information on bike sign routes. And basically those were the constituents that I had heard from were asking me about bike signs. So I asked for information on the bike signs routes, and I did receive that information yesterday. And it was basically a GIS printout that's on their road commission. We've agreed to going forward, we've agreed to quarterly meetings. Commissioner Strebs had some concerns. Commissioner Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler stated his concerns, or not his, I guess it was reluctance to internalize the road commission. So that was the basis of the conversation. But as far as agreements that we got out of that, we did agree that communication between board leadership and their leadership needed to happen at least at a quarterly meetings from here on out. And we also talked about some of the long-term funding possibilities and challenges that the road commission currently has, as well as the desire for this county board of commissioners to as much as financially possible, have a complete streets approach. So those were the gist of the conversations, as much as I can remember. Kevin, is there something that you would, or Jeff or Jen, something that I missed? No. Commissioner Strebs.
One other topic that was touched on was the potential need to separate the pension funds and some of the issues related to that. So among, discussing other concerns that I've brought forward and hearing the road commission's response to those, and I can wait to my time to elaborate on that further.
Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair. And this is for Administrator Catlin. When you looked at the other counties, did they dissolve the county road commission? And if so, why or why not?
Sorry about that. I had the green mic at first. Oh, that's why. Thank you. So, yeah, so the general sense of the counties I looked at, I only looked at about 3. I know Jackson, Calhoun, and I thought it was Berry County I looked at, but maybe it's not Berry. But I know that when they looked at the, sort of evaluated this process, they were looking at realizing efficiencies. So efficiencies in like your HR components, your financial components, those sorts of things. They also looked at what, benefit, kind of the cost benefit of eliminating another layer of government, that sort of thing. But then also kind of looking at how that would impact a county board in terms of approving all the road commission's items, those sorts of things. I know that, so our county is unique. They're already on our within our pension, so we don't realize really any benefits there per se. But yeah, those are the sort of things that they look at and that they evaluated, considered before taking on the road commission as a county department.
But did they dissolve it? Did they take it on?
Oh,
That's what you're
yes.
saying.
Mhm.
So they dissolved the county road commission, and like, how is it working out? Do we have updates on that?
Yeah, excellent question, Commissioner Morales. So the only one that I did receive information back on that was Calhoun County, and they've informed me that they've saved millions of dollars. I don't have the exact dollar amount, but the administrator there told me they've saved millions. Things have been more efficient. However, they have told me that their meetings are a little bit longer because they're dealing with road commission items too. So you just have to kind of take that into account.
And when you say they saved millions, because I was under the impression that our road commission has their own money, that we don't give them any money. So how would we particularly save millions? Or are you just saying within the county, we would save millions? Is that based off salary? Closing that building down? Like, I need some extra insight on that.
Yeah, no, excellent question and follow-up. So what my understanding is what they mean by when they've saved money and realized efficiencies is that since they eliminated that layer of government, they've saved taxpayer money per se that goes back into roads by eliminating personnel with regard to HR, finance, because we have those components here at the county. You know, those systems that they're paying for could be duplicative with our system, so you can eliminate, you know, sort of software systems, things like that. I think there's a lot that's gone into sort of their savings that they've theoretically realized, but I believe that they just go back into roads at that point.
And the last question is because it's been brought to our attention from constituents, when constituents do have grievances or complaints like they've been bringing forward to us, how quickly, since they've dissolved the road commission, have they been able to attend to those needs and get that work done?
That I'm not sure, and I'd have to follow up with at least Calhoun County to ask that, but I know that obviously because you would eliminate the road commission body, those complaints or constituents would essentially deliver public comment at our meetings. For instance, our committee of the whole or the regular meeting. They still maintain their sort of, I call it, leadership structure within their, so now they're in like Calhoun County, they're called the road departments or road commission, but they maintain that leadership. So they still handle the inquiries, those direct inquiries related to that department. But I suppose public comment would be delivered at the board meetings.
And did those folks who were working for the road commission lose their jobs, or did they come under the new entity of that governmental system?
My understanding with Calhoun is that, and I can't speak to anyone that lost their job, but I believe that they basically just absorbed the structure. So for the most part, I'm sure there's some that were either weeded out and or may work for like their central HR department now or their central finance department, because now it's not an actual department of the road commission per se. So, yeah.
Commissioner Straps.
Thank you. So I just reached out to a number of road commissions across the state that have assumed their road commissions, and there's a variety of different factors. One primary factor is just a difference in strategic vision and governance, and I think that is what I see as one of the issues at play here, along with cost savings. So all the details that Commissioner Morales is asking about are really important for us to understand before we choose to enact or not internalizing the road commission. And we get those through a study. You know, if we fund a study to evaluate what would be required. And as chair has elevated, perhaps we don't have the internal infrastructure to do that. We would know that then by conducting a study to tell us really what would be involved to accomplish the tasks at hand. I think I continue to hear themes and one that is concerning, and I hope that the current road commission is aware of that continues to be elevated is concerns about people bringing forth issues. They're worried about retaliation. I heard that in public comment tonight, and that's unfortunate. I think other commissioners have heard that same concern elevated. And so, that's a part of sort of this process where we need to sort of look through what's occurring and how we can improve and what efficiencies can be garnered. What we're asking for is to advance a study to garner the information, and then this board can then be informed and decide what we want to do. From the cost of a study conducted by Calhoun to the cost presented to us now has increased, and a study cost is going to increase over time. We're seeing continued sort of structural pressure on the funding for roads through Act 51. So it may become more urgent for us to figure out a way to build efficiencies. And then we're going to pay a higher cost to study this at a later time. So I think for us now, we've taken action as a board to evaluate this already, that we should commit the resources to garner the information. The Road Commission, is in opposition to that, and they've worked diligently to articulate that viewpoint. And I understand they would like it to remain as is, but there are potential benefits to that, including addressing concerns from both urban townships to rural townships, that we can build some flexibility potentially in the policy process. So those are things that we can determine after we conduct a study, and then the board will decide whether we want to move forward with the assumption or not. So I think Administrator Catlin identifies, what those potential benefits are. There may be potential downsides as well, and a study will help us understand what those would be. Thank you.
Commissioner Gessler, then Commissioner DeLu.
Yes, I think most of you know how I feel about this whole issue. I believe this is a solution in search of a problem. It's been raised by some very vociferous people, one of which we heard tonight, and another we heard last time around. And it's, in my opinion, a very vocal, but very much a minority of citizenry. And I would love to know how many total counties have done that absorption that we're talking about. 5? That's out of 83. That doesn't make me think that this is by all means the way to go. And when we listen to our few in number, but loud in voice, minority speakers as we have, and we are prepared apparently to, if we proceed with this, to denigrate the opinions of the 15 township supervisors in the county. And none of them will tell you that they think the road commission is absolutely 100% perfect, because they don't. I sit in on many of those meetings, and when the road commission is there, they get bloodied a little bit. But overall, we have among the best roads in the county, or in the state. Our county is constantly being cited as the way to do things. And I just would rather see us not turn into Calhoun County, because if you drive from the east side of Kalamazoo into Calhoun County, you'll see that the roads are poor. I would use a different word, but this is going to be recorded and I don't want to do that. So my basic take is we're looking at a solution in search of a problem. And I'll never vote for bringing it inside, because I don't think we're equipped to do that anyway. Thank you.
Commissioner DeLu.
I just have 2 questions. Where does the money come from to support this?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner DeLu. So it would, the board would likely allocate it from our general fund balance. There's nothing in the budget right now that we have unless the board could take a look at the strategic issues fund that we have. I mean, those sorts of things to do a budget adjustment, but otherwise it would just come from fund balance.
And secondly, I don't know if you know the answer to this. At the conclusion of this study, do we have two choices? Leave it as is or bring it in-house?
So no, there would actually be three. Yeah, one would be status quo, leave it as is. The other that the board has discussed and sort of it's been postponed to a date certain is to have the road commissioners elected. Or the third option is as a result of the study and its findings, bring them in as an internal department.
Commissioner Mazer.
I also, as I mentioned at the last meeting, I'm not in favor of putting this money towards this project. I also have attended the County Road Commission meetings and they've been very impressive. And I'm happy keeping them the way they are right now. And I agree with Commissioner Gissler. I would not vote in favor of changing it.
Any other Commissioner Hepler?
Thank you, Chair. I would not like to fund a study on this. I think we have good results. I have properties. I've lived in Calhoun County. The roads over there are not in good shape. I made complaints about water coming onto my property and basically costing me quite a bit of money to fix it. I've yet to see him fix the real problem, which is just clean the drains on a primary road. I've seen flooding. It's caused accidents. It's caused, and I've voiced concern to Calhoun County and see very little action towards getting those things done. So I really would not be in favor of going to Calhoun County's idea of their road commission. I think there is work to be done with our road commission, and I think the idea of having quarterly meetings with the road commission so that we can express the issues that other citizens have brought. I've had calls come to us, or I had one come to me yesterday about some work on 24th Street in Richland Township. And I advise them to contact the road commission. The lady says that she's been talking with them and they aren't done with the project, but that was where we need to direct if there's an issue. And then if there's continues to be an issue, bring it back. We'll go to the road commission and work with them on fixing it. They have to come up with policies that benefit every municipality. The road commission does not do anything for any of the cities, any of the 4 cities or any of the 5 villages. They only take care of the townships that are outside of those jurisdictions. That's their responsibility, which is a whole lot of road miles. And they do as much as they possibly can with the funds that they have available to them. I think they're doing a good job. Is there room for work? There's always room for work. We have that in anything we're doing because we have people. People make mistakes. They don't get everything done. We need to address those issues. We've had good comments from citizens about issues and those get brought forward and we will make adjustments as needed. But I cannot see spending money and trying to fix something that isn't really broke. Thank you.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. I can see the point of view from each side. I really think that this isn't personal when it comes to the road commission. This is us as county government and as a county board doing due diligence to at least gather the information. And if they're doing a great job, great. That's great. And if we need to change something, then we need to change something. But, you know, I don't know when I'd be able to go to a road commissioners board meeting because it's at 3 p.m. on Tuesdays. So to me, that right there is, okay, yes, citizens can join virtually or be in person, but now you're not letting the public into your meetings because they're at a time where most people are at work. So there's just some nuances that I would like to see change and some flexibility and working together. And if we do go through with this study, I want the road commission to understand that we are not attacking them. We are gathering information and trying to do our due diligence as a county board. And that we want to work together. We want to have cooperation, and that obviously that hasn't been felt in the past. So that's my piece.
Thank you. Commissioner DeLu.
Yeah, a couple of things. I want to agree with Abby on a couple of things. I don't want to spend the money either. However, I don't think you can ever have too much information. And also, as Commissioner Wheeler touched on, I'm an elected official. Personally, I've had great interactions with members of the road commission. However, I represent an area that has not. I've been contacted by government officials. And so I will actually be supporting this tonight for that reason. Thank you.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm voting no on this, and I wanted to explain this to Commissioner Strebs, it's based on the infrastructure that we currently have. I put on my fiduciary hat, and I've got to make what's in the best decisions of the county as a whole to all the residents. And I just feel even if it came back and said we could save, $500,000 a year, $250,000 a year, whatever it could come back and say, there's no way that we would really realize that because our level of service would just drop so dramatically. I think it would take a few years for us to catch up with the ability to administer Act 51 dollars. I mean, Act 51 dollars are completely different than regular general fund dollars. I mean, there's a lot of restrictions on how those can and should be spent. So, that being said, I mean, that's my position and where I'm at with that. So I don't know if there's any motions to go with one form or the other, if there's a recommendation from administration or what the process to proceed would be. I got Commissioner Strebs and Commissioner Gissler, but Commissioner Strebs.
Unless there's a recommendation from administration, I would recommend a motion to approve up to $20,000 to fund a study for the assumption of the road commission as an internal department of county government.
So can you write that down? And so you're recommending upon administration's recommendation up to $20,000 to be used for a study for the internalization of the road commission?
That's correct.
Vice Chair Ray?
Thank you, Chair. I just have a question for Commissioner Strebs, but I'll address the Chair. It's in regards to the motion. So I want to support us moving forward with doing a study. However, I don't want us to do a study just to gather information on internalizing the road commission. We need to gather all of the information. So should the motion be changed?
It looks like administrator has a motion. Yes, Commissioner Strebs.
And thank you. And thank you also, Vice Chair, for that feedback, as the board did already move to lay out the three options as addressed earlier. So thank you from administration. I move a board obtain an analysis of the feasibility of the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners assuming the powers, duties, and functions of the Kalamazoo County Road Commission as permitted by statute if approved by the voters in an amount not to exceed $29,999.
If approved by the voters.
Commissioner Chair.
Yes, Corporate Counsel.
As approved by the voters is per the statute in terms of internalizing the department and putting it to vote. That was from that language, it doesn't speak to approved by the voters of the motion.
Oh, okay.
So at the end of the study, if we decide we want to go forward, then it goes to the voters for final approval.
That makes a lot more sense. Yes, Commissioner Morales.
Yeah, I need clarification. So if it goes through, then we're gonna have like a special vote, or I need some clarification. For voters, who are the voters? Are you talking about the commission? Or are you talking about actual citizens? constituents, corporate counsel.
Administrator Catlin or Corporate Counsel, can you, either of you answer that question?
Oh, sorry. Me.
So, yeah, we need some more research conducted on that. My understanding was, and I'll let Corporation Counsel opine, I'm sure I'm likely, I could be wrong, but I thought that state statute just allows for it by approval of the board. I don't think it has to go back to the voters. I thought that language by the voters was referring to as approved. It was approved to be incorporated in state statute to allow for this process to take place by action of the county board, but we may just need a couple of minutes to allow Corporation Counsel opine.
No problem. In the meantime, Vice Chair Ray.
Thank you. So reading that motion, essentially, I heard the same thing. So should we work on recrafting the motion and then also reducing the amount from 29,000 to something more feasible, like 20,000? So should we just work on a different motion and perhaps bring it to the floor at the 7 o'clock meeting? Because
we can do that. But to answer the question about the $20,000, I would recommend it remain at $29,999 because I only received 2 proposals and purchasing policy stipulates that I received 3. And so potentially a proposal could come back at $29,999 and the board may want to actually select that proposal as opposed to the lesser. So I just need to make sure that that we have authority to evaluate those proposals at that dollar amount based on purchasing policy.
Commissioner Gissler.
Thank you. Maybe I misunderstood, but I believe the 2 vendors that have sent you information based on your request for proposal are all accountants. So we're looking at this strictly from a financial standpoint and paying no attention to the fact that out of the 83 counties in the state of Michigan, we have among the best roads around. We're going to nickel dime and let the bean counters make this decision. I think that's an abomination. Thank you.
Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair. So I guess I'm just having a hard time as I've stated before, I'd rather see that money go to salary. And I'm not a fan of these market studies. Number 2, if you all just met recently, where is the cushion to show if they have the means to change? You know what I'm saying? Before we invest the money into a study without giving them the opportunity in these next months, now there's some fire under their seat to give constituents what they need. So that's my biggest qualm right now. Like, I don't want to spend the extra money because we could put it somewhere else. For me, it's for salaries, so we can take care of our employees. But I don't know that the road commission doesn't have the capacity to do what they need to do in these other districts. I mean, it doesn't affect my district, but like you said, you know, Commissioner DeLu and Strebs, it's affecting you all. Like the complaint is there. I guess I would like to hear from them what they're doing with the complaints right now.
Commissioner Strebs.
Thank you, Chair. I think a solution to the issues that have been identified is the goal, however that occurs. I do want to note, though, when we're thinking about allocating our resources and figuring out a way to potentially streamline government and save money that we can invest in infrastructure, we spent $40,000 on furniture, you know, in the administrator's office. So, I mean, it would be valuable for us to evaluate. One of the things that my apologies, I misstated that. I will stand corrected, please.
Yeah, Commissioner Strebs has the floor.
I apologize. May I ask, I'd like to seek the correction from administrator. I don't mean to misstate that.
No, that's okay. It's 16,000.
Thank you so much. My apologies. We got a lot of numbers that fly around sometimes. But we're not talking about running the road commission. This is about the governance of the road commission, the policy-making body, which would become this body. as one of the options. So they can continue to do excellent work at what they do excellently. But one of the things that, at the end of our meeting the other day, one of the road commissioners noted that to address the concerns in Westwood Township, what should have been done is the installation of 2 traffic circles that would have calmed the traffic speeds down by the school a half mile away. And I said, well, that it wouldn't have done that. And it would have been really upsetting to the community to take that action. And I heard, well, we just should have done it anyway. And, we would know if it would work because we'd study it after we installed the traffic circles. So the concept was to make this big investment to try to solve a problem for the community that would really have upset them without engaging the community, and then study whether it worked after the fact. And after we've been many months in discussion about the road commission, that's sort of still the viewpoint. They're not, just outliers or people that should be ignored. They're real legitimate concerns that maybe we can find a way to address and find a way to save money if we do so.
Thank you. Are there other commissioners that wish to speak on this? And just a really quick, Commissioner Morales, I did some research on the salary too. And previously, when we talked about our budget, I asked the question of what is a yearly COLA increase, and it's approximately about 300,000. If we were to institute that halfway through the year, it would be half that. Now we'd compound it on next budget cycles and stuff, but we're on the same page, at least as it comes to that issue. So I definitely think we need to start taking care of employees, but and not that we haven't, but I think that can be a focus that we look at moving forward. So, so is it the purview of this board to wait until an appropriate motion can be drafted, either or in which direction at 7 o'clock? Or do you guys want to vote on this right now? The expenditure of, I heard a motion on the floor. I did not hear a second.
So may I?
Can you repeat the motion?
Yeah, may I amend? Yeah, council, do you have some direction?
Since the original motion did not get a second, you would be making a separate motion. Is that correct, administration? All right, corporate counsel, I'm sorry.
Yes, that is correct. And I do have the clarification on the language for the original motion. The motion was started when the original question posed was whether to appoint or elect road commissioners. And so it's just an error in retaining language about sending it to the voters. If the road commissioners had been elected versus appointed, then it would have to be voted on as to whether the Board of Commissioners could take them under their authority and power. Given that they are appointed members, you can do so by resolution.
Does that clarify? Okay.
So I'd present a motion to move the county board obtain analysis of feasibility of the election of road commissioners, the assumption of the county board of commissioners assuming the powers, duties, and functions of the Kalamazoo County Road Commission as permitted by statute, or retaining the road commission as is, in the amount to not to exceed $25,000. $29,000. My apologies.
Can you just, we've been working our clerk really hard, and I want to make sure that he gets.
I will
this.
have it for him also in writing,
Okay,
but I can restate if you'd like, Chair.
please.
Move the county board obtain an analysis of the feasibility of the election of road commissioners, the county board of commissioners assuming the powers, duties, and functions of the Kalamazoo County Road Commission as permitted by statute, or retaining the Kalamazoo County Road Commission as is, in an amount not to exceed $29,999.
Okay, there is a motion made by Commissioner Strebs, supported by Commissioner DeLu. we should have been talking about the discussion now, but now we can discuss the merits of the motion. I will not be voting in favor of this. I think that we just don't have, it's not the $20,000. It's not the $25,000. I think our focus needs to be on beefing up our infrastructure and beefing up internally so that we can knock things out of the park and be on our A game. I think this could have a detrimental effect long-term on not just the roads in Kalamazoo County, but this commission as well. And it's taken on too many projects. That's my opinion. Any other commissioners wish to discuss this? Clerk Curran, will you please call a roll?
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. No. Commissioner Mazer,
No.
Commissioner Morales. No. Vice Chair Ray.
Yes.
Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor,
No.
Commissioner Wheeler,
No.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler.
No.
3 yes, 6 no.
Okay. The motion fails. But I will say, Commissioner Strebs, I want to let you know that I do find your concerns valid, and I will be working with you to try to address these concerns. And if this is something that we can internally take on, you'll have my support, but just not at this time. Okay. Now we don't have any closed session. So I think with that, we are adjourned. All right, yep.
I can't remember who, but all the stuff.
All right, I'm gonna call the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners, May 3rd, 2023 regular meeting to order. Giving tonight's invocation and reflection is Commissioner Gisler has agreed to step up.
Please bow your head and pray with me. Heavenly Father, as we gather today to make decisions for our community, bless us that we may use our best skills and judgment. Guide us as we consider the merits and pitfalls of each matter that comes before us. Grant us the wisdom to act in the best interests of our community and fellow citizens. Help us show respect for each other, even though we may disagree. Please grant us the wisdom and the powers amid conflicting interests and issues on the table. Finally, watch over those both domestic and foreign that keep us safe. With that, amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Clerk Curran, will you please take roll?
Commissioner DeLu.
Here.
Commissioner Gisler.
Here.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler.
Here.
Commissioner Mazer.
Here.
Commissioner Morales.
Present.
Vice Chair Ray. Commissioner Strebs.
Here.
Chair Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Here.
9 present.
All right, that takes us into proclamations. I believe, I think I have the right notes. Yep, proclamations. Commissioner Mazer, do you have the first one?
Yes. Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners proclamation honoring Amy Cooper. Whereas Amy Cooper has served the citizens of Kalamazoo County for 25 years as of April 21st, 2023. Whereas Amy Cooper has faithfully served as a systems analyst. And whereas the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners wishes to acknowledge and honor employees who have longevity under the umbrella of county government, since it is through longevity that expertise in the employees' particular field is achieved. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners does hereby acknowledge with gratitude the many years of dedication and service Amy Cooper has imparted to the citizens of the county and offers its best wishes for many more years of mutual association.
Supported by Commissioner Wheeler. Clerk Curran, will you take roll, please?
Commissioner Gisler.
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler.
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer.
Yes.
Commissioner Morales.
Yes.
Vice Chair Ray. Commissioner Strebs.
Yes.
Chair Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu.
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, next, Commissioner Pro Tem Hepler, do you have one for? Oh, she's here. Oh, my gosh. Well, come on up. Commissioner Mazer, if you want to hand her that proclamation. I'm so sorry. Okay. And thank you, Amy, for your dedicated work, 25 years at the county. Appreciate it very much. Commissioner Hepler, do you have a second?
Thank you, Chair. I do. I have a proclamation proclaiming to pay tribute to Congressman Fred Upton's service to not only us, but to this region. And I want to thank, this is to thank him for the 36 years that he served our community and brought home, I'll say the bacon at this point in time, for lack of a better term, to this community for many, many projects for our county and his many years of, I remember, I'd take a quick second to say, we had a little oil spill over in Marshall that kind of affected all the way through here. And every day, sometimes several times a day, I'd get a call from Mr. Upton. Is there anything that you need from us? Work with our sheriff and Calhoun County and all of us to mitigate the problem. And oftentimes I'd be taking one of his staff members around and we would go over the issue. So it was pretty almost every day. But let me go ahead with this. This is just a proclamation. Whereas Fred first began his work in the federal government in 1976 and then served in the Office of Management and Budget under President Reagan from 1981 to 1985. Whereas Fred Upton was first elected to the House of Representatives in 1986 and has served for 36 years in the House of Representatives and currently the Dean of Michigan House Delegation. Whereas Fred Upton has served on the House Energy and Commerce Committee and at one time served as its chairman. Whereas Fred Upton was responsible for helping to return millions of Michigan taxpayer dollars to Southwest Michigan in the form of federal funds for protection of the Great Lakes to enhance energy infrastructure and energy security. And whereas Fred Upton co-sponsored and helped to enact the bipartisan 21st Century Cures Act, which promotes and funds the accolade and research into preventing and curing serious illnesses, accuracy, life-saving drugs, and mental devices developed address the opioid crisis and improves mental health service deliveries. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners wishes to pay tribute to the dedicated appropriation for and to remember Fred Upton for his long history to serve to the people of Kalamazoo County and the state of Michigan. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause to seal the county of the Kalamazoo to affix this X day of XX 2023. So I'm assuming that means today's date.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
X-rated now. They threw in a couple curves on that one.
I'm not even going to attempt a joke on that one. So is there a motion? Is there a support?
Support.
There is a motion and support by Commissioner Morales. Clerk Curran, will you please take roll?
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ray, Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, that passes. And I am going to entertain this proclamation and somebody can so move it because I've got it written in front of me unless somebody has the Workers' Memorial Day in front of them. You do? Okay. Commissioner Wheeler, would you like to make that motion? And did you wanted to add international to the?
Could I make a comment about the one we just passed honoring Fred Upton? We probably will want to keep that handy because Debbie Stabenow is not going to run again, and she's certainly been a big factor in the state.
I'm not entirely sure they're on the same committees, but we could scrub that up a little bit.
Well, I represent a lot of farm country, and they love Debbie Stabenow and farm country.
Not so much with PETA, though. Commissioner Wheeler, do you have a motion to make?
I have the proclamation proclaiming April 28th, 2023 as International Workers' Memorial Day. Whereas every year on April 28th, communities, work sites around the world honor friends, family members, and colleagues who have been killed or injured on the job. Whereas in 2021, the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics estimated that 5,190 workers were killed by traumatic injuries on the job, and nearly 100 workers died every week at roughly 14 workplace deaths a day. Whereas in 2021, 140 workers' lives were lost through fatal workplace accidents in Michigan. Whereas it is appropriate to honor the memory of the courageous and dedicated members of Michigan's labor force who have been injured or disabled or have died as a result of workplace accidents. Whereas we remember those who have died in workplace catastrophes, suffered occupational related diseases, or have been injured due to dangerous conditions. Whereas recognition of the integrity of Michigan's workforce and its achievements on behalf of the economic growth of our state is necessary. Whereas the County of Kalamazoo wishes to pay tribute to the workers who have died or been injured or disabled in workplace accidents, to honor the contributions of Michigan's workforce and to call for increased workplace safety. And whereas the County of Kalamazoo renews our efforts to seek stronger workplace safety and health protections and better standards and enforcement and fair and just compensation, and by rededicating ourselves to improving safety and health in every county workplace. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Kalamazoo Board of Commissioners, by virtue of the power vested in the board under County of Kalamazoo, do hereby claim April 28th, 2023 as International Workers' Memorial Day in the County of Kalamazoo, Michigan, and urge all citizens to recognize and honor contributions of Michigan's workforce and call for increased workplace safety standards.
A second.
There is a motion and support. Clerk Curran, will you please take roll?
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ray, Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Commissioner, Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, that takes us into communications. Who wants to read that? Commissioner DeLu.
I've been a little negligent in my reading, so time to step up. Ontonagon County Resolution affirming support of all constitutional rights, including the right to bear arms and adequately fund mental health services. Have a communication from Alcona County Resolution in support of the revised school code, and from Livingston County Resolution in support of the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and the Michigan Constitution.
Thank you very much. The chair knows of no other communications. Any other communications from commissioners? No? Okay, that takes us into the approval of the minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the April 18th, 2023 draft committee of the whole and regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Streb, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Clerk Curran, will you please take roll?
Commissioner Morales, Vice Chair Ray, Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
and Commissioner Mazer. 9 yes.
And next up, the approval of the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Moved by Commissioner Morales, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. I think this can be a voice vote, or does it have to be roll call? The approval of the agenda. We try to save his
It doesn't have to
voice.
be roll call.
It does have to be roll
It
call.
does not.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? The motion carries. Now we are on public comment. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the Board of Commissioners. Please give us your name and address and keep remarks to 3 minutes if you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Dave Pulowski. I'm Vice Chair of the Road Commission of Kalamazoo County. Just want to say thank you to your leadership and your Administrator Catlin for meeting with our leadership and our Managing Director Johnson. Just earlier this week on Monday, we look forward to meeting again and continue our collaboration with you. We want to listen to each other and we want to build trust in each other. I'm here to answer questions. Somebody will be here from the Road Commission at every county commission meeting going forward, whether it's myself, the chair, the managing director, or someone from her senior staff. So we want to be here available for you in case you have questions. So I will end there and just say thank you for your public service.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the audience wishing to address the board? Okay, Administrator Callan, do you want to roll us through our pre-recorded?
Yes, we have 2 pre-recorded public comments tonight, and Dina will roll those in just a moment.
I'm Jeanette Rubinski calling from Kalamazoo County. Please play this message at both the 4 p.m. and the 7 p.m. meetings of the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners on Wednesday, May 3rd. I'm calling in regard to the YWCA's presentation at the 4 p.m. meeting of the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners on April 18. In it, they asked the board to give them $100,000 to help finance their reproductive health fund. The board said that they would consider the request during the 2024 budget process. The goals of the YWCA Reproductive Health Fund are to increase access to abortion, contraception, gender-affirming care, and doula care. Almost all of these services are against the Catholic religion and other Christian religions, despite the fact that YWCA stands for Young Women's Christian Association. Today, I'd like to zero in on abortion. During their presentation, the YWCA said it is seeking reproductive justice. Does that include justice for the unborn child in the womb who has nowhere to hide? An estimated 63 million babies in the womb have been killed through abortion in the U.S. alone since it became legal in 1973. The womb used to be one of the safest places on earth. Not anymore. If a mother's womb is no longer a safe place, how do you expect anywhere else on earth to be safe, like schools, for example? The ever-widening acceptance of abortion sends the message that it's okay to solve problems by killing. That's not okay, and abortion is not okay. Every abortion snuffs out a human life full of potential. Every single person is valuable, born or preborn, male or female, exactly the way God created him or her. Each person is unique and has a purpose that only he or she can fulfill. Please don't give any money to the YWCA Reproductive Health Fund. Instead, why not give it to Schoolcraft to help them fund their clean water project? I know that they need more than $100,000 for that project, but at the April 18 meeting, you said that the 2023 Kalamazoo County Equalization Report revealed that taxable value had increased 6.8%. You could use some of that extra tax revenue to help our sister village, Schoolcraft. That would be a more appropriate use of taxpayer dollars than enabling the YWCA Reproductive Health Fund to give out vouchers for free abortion services. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ann Cooper, and my address is at 2106 Helen Avenue in Portage, Michigan. This public comment is requested to be shared at both the Board of Commissioners Committee of the Whole meeting at 4 p.m. and the evening board meeting, both of which are scheduled for Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. I'm calling to voice my opposition to Kalamazoo County funding for the YWCA Kalamazoo Comprehensive Reproductive Health Fund, which is being reviewed in the budget process at this time. I strongly oppose the use of taxpayer funds to pay for abortions under this YWCA program and grant, under any program and grant, and at any time. Abortion is the intentional killing of a preborn child. and goes against the teachings of all Bible-based religions, including my Roman Catholic faith. Funding abortions with taxpayer money goes against the beliefs of all American citizens as well as expressed in our Declaration of Independence. It's my understanding that the funds that were granted to the YWCA were previously granted to Southwest Michigan First, a business development company that fosters business and job growth in our area. The mission of Southwest Michigan First is, from their website, to help build a diverse, inclusive, and equitable economy for all in Southwest Michigan. With a job, an individual can provide themselves and loved ones with the essentials necessary for life, such as food, clothing, healthcare, shelter, and education. A job is the beginning of a cycle of self-determination. Jobs and employment can point someone's life trajectory toward the positive and ensure the vibrancy of our region. As their website states, this organization is focused on bringing jobs to our area and in helping our economy grow. This organization benefits all of our citizens. By contrast, the YWCA used the grant for the killing of preborn children by abortion and the harming of young people who are gender confused. This expenditure benefited no one in our county. I support restoring grant funding to Southwest Michigan First and ending funding of abortions and gender transition care with taxpayer dollars. Thank you very much.
Are there any hands raised?
It does not appear we have hands raised, Chair.
Okay, that takes us into our consent agenda. Who wants to go? You've got it, Commissioner DeLu. All right. You want to take us through consent?
Under Administration, 2023-6070, request for approval of accounts payable and payroll disbursements. 6054, request for approval to amend a contract with Integrated Services of Kalamazoo for temporary parking. Under Board of Commissioners, 5963, review and approval of modifications to state apprenticeship expansion grant. Under Circuit Court, 5962, request for approval of the budget adjustment needed for as a result of the February 15th, 2023 administrator approval of grant terms and conditions agreement with Michigan Court appointed special advocate for children. 5964, request for approval of budget adjustments for the Circuit Court's juvenile home donations program. 5967, request for approval for the juvenile home / on-track program to create / fill the position of transition specialist utilizing approved ARPA grant funds. Health and Community Services, 6103, request for approval to submit a letter of intent to apply for the CDC grant enhancing STI and sexual health clinic infrastructure. Parks and Expo, 6018, request for approval of position elimination and creations. Under the Sheriff's Department, request for approval of and signature of the police protection agreement with the Village of Climax. 5953, request for approval of and signature on additional orders to current LexisNexis application. 5958, request for approval of nurse or LPN position at the Kalamazoo County Jail. 5996, request for approval of the signature on police protection agreement with the Charter Township of Pavilion. 6052, request for approval of signature on resolution of adoption of the 2022 Kalamazoo County Hazard Mitigation Plan. And with this, I move that the consent agenda items be voted on at one time by roll call vote and be considered as a consent agenda by the board.
Second. There is a motion and support. Clerk Kern, will you please take roll?
Vice Chair Ray. Commissioner. Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales.
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, the motion passes. Next up is unfinished business and general orders. The chair knows of none. We do have some new business, but any unfinished business? All right, this takes us into new business. Commissioner Morales, I think you have the first one here.
That's my payback from last year. Turn your mic on. I move that the board appoint Vice Chair Tammy Rates, the Land Bank Authority, as one of the 6 general members appointed as permitted by the Land Bank Intergovernmental Agreement, Article 4, Section 4.01, and pursuant to the Land Bank Bylaws, Article 3, Section 3.2B.
Support.
Motion and support. I strongly support this motion. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the land bank, and I think we need our eyes and ears in there. And I send Commissioner Gisler to places all the time. I send Janda. This is I think Vice Chair Ray is going to do a great job of reporting back what's going on. So I strongly support this.
I agree.
Clerk Curran, will you please take roll?
Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ray. 9 yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Thank you. I think Commissioner Hepler, you have one.
Thank you, Chair. I move that the board approve 1.4 million from the county general fund balance to support process improvements initiatives within the county.
Second.
There is a motion and support. Discussion? Clerk Kern, will you take roll? I'm using your voice box right now. I apologize.
Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Strebs.
Yes.
9 yes.
Now, Commissioner Wheeler, you're up.
I move that the board appropriate $100,000 in ARPA funds to support upgrading our county website to increase security, accountability, transparency, integrity, protection, compliance, and accessibility.
Motion and is there support by Commissioner DeLu? Discussion? We didn't get a chance to talk about this at the committee of the whole, but I think it was a request. Or Commissioner Administrator Catlin.
Yes, thank you, Chair, Vice Chairs, Commissioners, audience. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about this tonight. This has been a request that's been on it wasn't an original ARPA application request. This has been on that additional request list that we've shared, I'd probably say a few times now. We've had some difficulties with our website for quite a while now. And right now, the current model is that we don't actually control that website internally. So staff don't actually, we don't manage that internally. We pay a consultant or a vendor to manage the website. When changes are made, they're made on an individual itemized basis, essentially. So every department kind of accrues charges if they need changes made to the website. On your dais, I had included a letter from the clerk's office actually today that sort of speaks to why we need a new website to ensure that that it's accessible, that it's transparent, and that it's just more intuitive to our users, either internally and externally for constituents. And we're sort of in dire need to implement something new, something that's more intuitive, something that we can actually control. And just a most recent example of this is that we needed a change to be made to ensure that we could have trust placed or to ensure that our constituents entrusted us in what we're doing. And the vendor actually, essentially said that they were dealing with a different customer. And these are matters that needed to be resolved right then and there. So I think that you'll see that there's support for this, at least by one elected official, but I know that all elected officials, courts, and departments would benefit greatly from this, from having it centralized and controlled by the administration office through our public information officer.
And just to add on to that, it takes close to 24 hours. If we are to change something, it takes close to 24 hours to contact that vendor and actually change some. And then also we are the only county with a population over about 20,000 people that does not have a .gov. Most major counties have .gov. Most actual townships of about 3,000, 5,000 people have .govs. But Commissioner Streps.
Thank you, Chair. If I may ask of Administrator, I think this is a good proposal, and I will intend to support that. I just wondered, and it's been some time since I've looked at all of them recently, but each of the elected officials sort of has a different look to their web pages, and I'm wondering if this is an opportunity, or do the elected officials need to, will they help? I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. Maybe you understand me.
Yeah, no, I think I see where you're going. So we intend for this. So because we intend that we expect that the website and the proposals that we'll get back are going to be greater than 30,000. So this will actually go out to bid or RFP. We then expect and intend actually to engage all department heads, elected officials, and court administrators in to ensure that we have an inclusive process to build in what the website needs to look like for generally and for their respective departments. Yep.
And so in that, we'll do some work around like branding so that there's sort of like a unified feel to the pages across the website. That would be great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Clerk Kern, will you please take roll?
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ray, Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor.
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, I know of no other new business. Oh, you got one more. Okay, Commissioner Hepler.
Thank you, Chair. Motion to approve workers' compensation redemption, Matt Fleury versus Kalamazoo County. I move to approve redemption of the workers' compensation wage loss liability as recommended by the county's attorney in the matter of Matt Fleury versus Kalamazoo County in the amount of $195,000 plus to authorize payment of Blue Cross Blue Shield lien and allow Mr. Fleury to enroll in the retirement health insurance at the age of 55.
There is a motion and support. Clerk Kern, will you please take roll?
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ray, Commissioner Strebs,
Yes.
Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
9 yes.
Now I know of no other. New business. Next up is public comment. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the Board of Commissioners. Please give us your name, address, and you have up to 3 minutes. Seeing none, can we do the pre-recorded? But if they've already gone once in this meeting, we don't have to do it again. Okay. Is there somebody that hasn't gone yet? Pre-recorded?
Dina, do we have any hands that are raised on Zoom?
No, we do not.
Okay, that takes us into reports of officers, bodies, administrators, and controller. I'll be really brief. You know, that. No, he goes at the end. Yeah, I'm not going to forget him this time. I promise. I made a note on my thing. I felt so bad last time. I felt really bad last, so I did it twice in a row. But yeah, I'll just be really brief. You know, I think as we got a report at our committee of the whole about our budget. As I said, that one of the most important things we do is our budget. And I look forward to working with this Board of Commissioners as we prioritize both our internal and external needs. And we look, and one of the things in the forefront of my mind during this budget process is going to be employees. I think that we can do things to, you know, whether it's compensation in the terms of payment or whether it's compensation in terms of holiday or whether it's compensation in terms of days off or, you know, maybe even a parking garage, which is in walking distance, who knows? But I think we can do some good things for our employees. And I hope that that's a focus of our 2024 budget. And that's it. Vice Chairperson's report. All right, Vice Chair Pro Tem's report.
Thank you, Chair. We had a meeting today with the emergency management folks. There was a great deal of conversation about the lithium battery issue that's coming twofold, causing issues for our public safety folks, our police, our fire, and the dangers that those propose or present. And I think there'll be more coming down the road as we work through the many issues. Tonight, we did pass our hazardous mitigation plan. We're the first, the clock is now ticking. They have to get that out to 21 different governmental entities in Kalamazoo to get their passage of it or their approval of it. So I think there's much going on. We did talk a little bit about the potential spring tornado weather that always seems to come to Michigan about this time of year, or actually starts in April. But one of our great departments that incorporates all of the governmental entities and many of the private sector into a team to help our citizens in their darkest hour when bad things happen, whether it's an oil spill or a major traffic accident on I-94 or some other place, or a tornado that comes through our community, which we had right down through here. And then I had one in Augusta back in the 70s. So the straight line winds, all those things are the reason that we have a good emergency management team that works diligently to keep us all safe. We also, I want to reach out and thank all my fellow commissioners and our many county employees that are the backbone of our community, our public works people, our maintenance people here that take care of our buildings, our courts, our prosecutors, our law enforcement. All those folks are what makes this county a great place to work, live, and play. And when you see the military folks around or the police or the fire, take a minute to tell them thanks for what they're doing. The medical staff that's out there that works daily to protect us and keep us all safe. And that'll do it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Administrator Catlin.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it. Vice Chairs, Commissioners, audience, I do have some items to go over tonight, just to some announcements and some feats that we've accomplished. So first thing is on the employee health clinic. So that's scheduled to open sometime in August, and a date certain will be shared with all employees closer, but they're making some great headway on that. And I know some of the commissioners have gone through and toured that, so we wanted to share that. I did share via email, but wanted to announce also publicly so residents and constituents know that the Planning and Development Director, our GIS technician, Alex Franchi, and our Public Information Officer were able to develop that Find Your Commissioner tool, and it's available on our website. So that's official finally, and a lot of work went into that, and it's a great way to increase the transparency and accessibility. There is ongoing efforts to also add a tool for Find Your Polling Location and Dropbox. So they're working on that, and we'll provide an update to the board on that when that project is complete. Just a reminder that tomorrow at 4 p.m. we have the Justice Center tour. They've made a lot of great progress on that. So if you're able to stop by, if you're not able to stop by tomorrow at 4, we can set something up separately with all commission or with us specific commissioners rather. We will meet in the parking lot adjacent to the building. So that's our staff parking lot, the surface lot. And that's where the job trailer is now located because they're starting site work. So we moved their job trailer into the parking lot so they could start site work on the property. Yeah, same trailer. Yep. So, and that's so that they can provide us proper PPE before entering the building. We received notification from the problem solving courts today, and we sent that via email, thanking each of the commissioners that were able to make it out to their April 28th Men's Drug Treatment Court in honor of National Drug Court Month. You are always welcome to observe those cases in progress, and you're able to reach out to Sarah Green to set up times and learn more information about that. Wanted to share some information on the Animal Services and Enforcement Department. They are starting May 3rd. They will be extending hours, and extended hours are returning to the animal shelter. So on Wednesdays, the shelter will now be open until 7 for adoptions, licensing, owner reclaims, and volunteering. The addition of Saturday hours will also be announced soon. So we'll share that information. And then during National Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week in April, we were able to highlight officers along with adoptable dogs. From Health and Community Services, the Veterans Service Office will be hosting the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist on May 12th next week. The hour-long conversation is intended for Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist to learn more about the Veterans Program in Kalamazoo County. So we'll have Deputy Administrator Warner, I believe, the chair. I thought you were invited to that, and then we'll have some other staff on key staff from that office kind of discussing some things with the Lieutenant Governor. And then last but certainly not least, this Friday, you were all invited to attend the 5th year celebration of the Larry Brabantser County ID program at El Concilio, located at 930 Lake Street, Suite A. And I wanted to just give some kudos to the clerk's office. They developed a video or created a video in partnership with the local vendor, and definitely search Facebook and watch that video. It's pretty phenomenal. So that's all I have this evening. Happy to entertain questions.
Any questions for the administrator? Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. Members' time. Commissioner Morales, I think we'll start you off if you want to got anything to say.
Good work. I'm gonna start us off with saying I have nothing to say.
Commissioner Straps.
So just a couple, the administrator reminded us of the celebration of the county ID program on Friday. So I really hope some of our commission will come and attend. We're going to be together from 4 to 7. There's food and ice cream and music and a bounce house. And we're going to see the video with the amazing Commissioner Morales part of that, and our Sheriff Fuller as well as clerk. So it's a tremendous celebration, and we've had thousands of people in the community benefit from the program. And our clerk's office is doing a wonderful job along with the dedicated staff, Jasmine in the clerk's office. So please come and help celebrate that, and the community. I hope you will come and join us as well. It will be a wonderful time. We know we had an increase in drug overdoses in the community recently, and one of the community vendors that we funded some of their work here through the county commission, Hope Through Navigation. They did some community pop-up events for free Narcan kits. So they have another one that's coming up this Friday, May the 4th in Edison from 2 to 5 at 921 Washington Avenue. There people can get training, a free Narcan kit, and also fentanyl testing strips, because that, I think, was the cause of the overdose spike, was actually other stimulants laced with fentanyl that people did not realize that's what they were ingesting. And I work in mental health, so it's Mental Health Awareness Month in May. People, in desperate times, you can call 988. That's a national suicide awareness or prevention hotline, rather. So reach out. There's help available when you need it, and take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Commissioner Wheeler.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Commissioner DeLu.
Yeah, thank you. I just appreciate the proclamation tonight for Amy Cooper. I kind of worked with her in the past in the court system. And for Fred Upton, although I think I'm a registered Democrat. I appreciate all the years Mr. Upton put in representing Southwest Michigan. In my short time as just a county commissioner, some of the phone calls and emails I've gotten, I can't imagine what he dealt with from over those number of years. And I don't know, just his service is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Commissioner Gissler.
Thank you, Chair. I have nothing tonight.
Commissioner Mazer. With that, we are adjourned.